What's up, guys? This is Chris from DraftDashboard.com. Here are my DFS picks for NBA
Sunday, October 11th.
These picks apply for DraftKings and FanDuel. Before I get started, please drop a like on this video and hit that red subscribe button and hit that bell icon so you don't miss our new videos. In this video, I'm going to go over my top picks for today's NBA slate. And if you stick around to the very end of this video, we'll use the Draft Dashboard tools to make a DFS lineup using the picks we just made.
Okay guys, NBA Finals. Let's take a look at this NBA showdown between the LA Lakers and the Miami Heat. So I'm surprised that the Miami Heat have pushed this series this far. But hey, you got to give them credit. They're hanging in there even with all those injuries and everything. I didn't expect this, but we got more basketball today, so let's get into these picks. I'm going to go over the studs on the slate, and then I'll get into the value plays. So I like LeBron James from the LA Lakers. He's averaging 51.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 35 minutes per game with a 32% usage rate. He scored 71, 51, and 47 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 41, 38, and 39 minutes. He's going to be about 70% owned here, projected at 56 fantasy points here tonight. So I like LeBron James here versus the LA Lakers. Well, I should say the first stud was LeBron James. The second stud on the slate is Anthony Davis from the LA Lakers. He's averaging 50.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 29% usage rate. He scored 63, 52, and 27 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 42, 41, and 32 minutes. He's going to be about 76% owned here, projected at 53.9 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Anthony Davis here versus the Miami Heat. Okay, and then we got Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat, and he's averaged 41.8 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 25% usage rate. He scored 81, 57, and 80 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 47, 43, and 44 minutes. His ownership is going to be around 70%, and he's projected at 54 fantasy points here tonight. This guy's been on fire. He's been the reason that this team has been able to stretch this series out so long. So I like Jimmy Butler here versus the LA Lakers. Now, the last stud on the slate is Bam Adebayo, and he hasn't really been the same since coming back from injury. He's averaged 40.3 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 34 minutes per game with a 21% usage rate. But he's only scored 24 and 25 fantasy points in the last 2 games since he came back from that neck injury, playing 37 and 33 minutes. So you can see that neck is probably still bothering him. So they're giving all the usage to Jimmy Butler, and Jimmy Butler's been on fire, so why not? So Bam's going to be about 32% owned here, projected at 34 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Bam Adebayo here versus the LA Lakers. Now, I'm a little skeptical of Bam, but his salary is much less than the other 3 studs on the slate. So if you want to risk playing Bam, I think it's fine to do that. He's had a couple games now, so he could play 40 minutes this game, and he could put up a big stat line. But I'm probably going to opt to play a combination of Anthony Davis, LeBron James, or Butler. But Bam Adebayo can get it done for you. So with the studs out of the way here, let's get into some of these value plays. This guy's been on fire. I like Duncan Robinson from the Miami Heat. He's only averaged 20.6 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 30 minutes per game, but he scored 37, 28, and 33 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing elevated minutes here, playing 37, 32, and 39 minutes in the last 3 games. He's going to be about 15% owned here. I think that ownership is going to come up to about 30%, maybe even more, because he's been hot. He's projected at 30 fantasy points here tonight, so I like Duncan Robinson here versus the LA Lakers. Another value play for you. This guy's been pretty consistent. I like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope from the LA Lakers. Now, he's only averaged 16.4 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 26 minutes per game with a 15% usage rate, but he scored 26, 25, and 13 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 31, 31, and 29 minutes. So his minutes have been consistently right around 30 minutes per game. So that's one of the reasons why I like this pick. He's going to be about 20% owned here, projected at 23 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope here versus the Miami Heat.
Real quick, guys, I got great news. For a limited time, we're offering a full 30-day trial to Draft Dashboard. You can try all of our DFS tools for all sports. You can try the Position Optimizer, where you can see the top players ranked for each position. And we added a new Player Trends tool, where you can see the top salary differences between FanDuel and DraftKings. It's a really good tool to help you pick out value for the site that you're playing on. Oh, and if you're tired of doing research every day, we just added a cheat sheet that shows hand-picked plays for the slate. No confusing stat lines, no headaches, just a simple cheat sheet that shows the absolute best players for your lineups.
Then I like Rajon Rondo from the LA Lakers, and he's averaged 18.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 21 minutes per game with a 19% usage rate. He scored 23, 20, and 25 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 18, 28, and 27 minutes. He's going to be about 24% owned here, projected at 23 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Rajon Rondo here versus the Miami Heat. Then I like Jay Crowder from the Miami Heat. He's averaged 24.7 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 16% usage rate. He scored 13, 25, and 22 fantasy points in the last 3 games. He's going to be about 40% owned here, projected at 21 fantasy points here tonight. So I like Jay Crowder here versus the LA Lakers. And now this next pick, I think you got to give this guy a shot here tonight. I like Kendrick Nunn from the Miami Heat. He's averaged 24.9 fantasy points per game on the season, playing an average of 29 minutes per game with a 24% usage rate. He scored 23, 11, and 4 fantasy points in the last 3 games, playing 27, 25, and 19 minutes. So you can see that he finally put together a decent game here last game, and I'm hoping that that momentum continues into tonight because his salary is still low. He's going to be about 20% owned here, projected at 17 fantasy points here tonight, but he can get you 20 to 25 fantasy points, and he's low salary, so I think he's a nice value play here. So I like Kendrick Nunn here versus the LA Lakers.
If you want to try all these daily fantasy tools for yourself, click the link in the description below this video or just go to draftdashboard.com. You can use our DFS lineup optimizer to build quality lineups using our picks and your own custom player pool. Click the link in the description below this video and try all these daily fantasy tools right now. Thanks so much for watching. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon so you can get instant updates whenever we post a new video. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please smackety smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Oh, and please comment below with your favorite player for this NBA slate. I love to hear what you guys have to think. Thanks again and good luck.